champion bagpipe player.
I mean, that was just because I like chips.
So I had to send the player off during the penalty shootout.
A male streaker chased me about the pitch.
Big Mac, 2 cheeseburgers and a Smarties McFlurry.
He is a real jack in the box.
Scottish Cup replay between Kilmarnock and Aberdeen that went all the way. It finished 4-3 and the last goal came in something like stoppage time.
The Motherwell Hibs match sticks in my mind, a 6 each thriller, it was excellent.
Oh my God, I don't even know where to start with this.
I'm not sure any of them that I could broadcast right now, but I'll leave that to your imagination.
Champion bagpipe player. I've never picked up the bagpipes in my life.
Must be a Celtic fan because he'd seen me in a chip shop in Carfin. I mean, that was just because I like chips and I'm close to the chip shop in Carfin.
Jorge Jesus, he's a nightmare. I mean, he is an artist. He is a real jack in the box. He's constantly questions everything. He's up and down the touchline. He's out. The technically right. And for me, way back then, I'm like, wow, what's happened here?
Jurgen Klopp's the best one.
Jurgen Klopp was a handful.
First thing the Observer said after the game was he said to Graham Chambers, he said, "Do you know Jurgen Klopp?" He says, "Have you got a relationship with him?" He says, "No." He says, "I would just wonder because he was standing with his hand on your shoulder the whole time." I mean, he just dominated poor Chambers.
Dortmund won the match. I don't really know what he was upset about.
Tommy Wright, a gentleman, a guy, but when he loses it, he really loses it.
The honest answer is none of them.
I've got to say there's no many that I'd want to be stuck in a desert island with.
You wouldn't want to be stuck in a desert island with any of them.
Brother lads, absolutely none of them.
Dan McFarlane, who did my Ireland for me when I was away with him, so I'll say Dan McFarlane just for the Ireland.
Bobby Madden. Wouldn't get a minute's peace. He'd keep you entertained for however long you were on the desert island.
Alan Mulvaney can get you anything, right? See, if you need something, Alan Mulvaney will get it, and he'll get it cheaper than you can get it. So I don't know how he does it, but Alan, so if you're stuck there and you need something, Alan will get it.
McDonald's.
A whole packet of biscuits or 2 packets of biscuits, I don't really stop.
Packet of biscuits.
But a pizza or a Chinese, something like that.
Big Mac, 2 cheeseburgers and a Smarties McFlurry.
I think for any referee in Scotland, really, getting to do the Scottish Cup final has got to be a dream game.
Boca Juniors, year ever play.
Boca River Plate, I think, is always the one that, to referee, I think would be amazing. Just to attend it would be unbelievable watching. It's incredible.
Barcelona, Real Madrid.
The World Cup final would be the ultimate for any referee.
You could have the referees mic'd up and would hear what we were saying. It'd be good also for people to understand the dialogue between players and referees, and also between the managers. I think it's constant, so I would like to see that.
They do it in hockey where they can take a quick free kick to themselves. So I think anything that speeds up the game.
Probably do away with having extra time, straight to penalty kicks. Some people might just say that's because I don't want to run anymore, but no, I think it's about the excitement for the fans.
I think it would just be celebrating a goal. I think if we could just get rid of a yellow card for the celebration of a goal, within reason. I mean, obviously there'd be things that players would still do that would go too far. I remember refereeing an amateur game years and years ago in a public park, and a guy scored a goal, ran off the park, jumped into a car and started tooting the horn.
Halfway through the penalty kicks, player scored and decided he would give I could leave it to your imagination, the gesture to the crowd behind the goal. So I had to send the player off during the penalty shootout.
The two dressing rooms face each other, and there's chairs getting flung, and there's a full-on fight, and I had to get both guys in and tell them that they were being sent off, and while they still had blood coming to injuries on their face.
I've not had any unusual circumstances. No, I mean, I've had a couple of unusual circumstances on pitches and things. Like I remember refereeing Irvine Meadow and Irvine Victoria in a junior derby, and a male streaker chased me about the pitch. So that's not a story I would often want to tell, but it is true.
Stevie Mallon, when he was at St Mirren, he played Dundee away at Dens Park, and he did a amazing from like the halfway line, magic side foot into the bottom corner.
George Oakley for Hamilton, right where the keeper off the post in. What a screamer.
A game maybe 3 or 4 years ago when Koulibaly scored for Kilmarnock from something like 40, 50 yards out.
Del Piero, he was probably in the latter stage of his career at that point, but he scored a curling shot for the edge of the area, top corner. It was absolutely fantastic. It was an under-12 game.
Under-21's amateur match.
A guy drove across the park on a quad bike about 300 times.
The most memorable part was that opposite the pitch, there's like 2 high-rise flats, and there was just this big crash at half-time, and it was a washing machine coming out the flat, like 8th floor flat, and then a good old Barney between somebody who'd been chucked out of the house and whoever was still in the house, and she was throwing out all his belongings.
Aye, this isn't an easy one. I mean, I can't say myself, I'll let the other guys say that.
Probably Beaton's probably one of the best chat.
Bobby Madden. I think there is only one winner, and I'd be surprised if anyone else has said anything otherwise. Bobby's probably said Bobby.
Brian Winter. Brian's stories were just ridiculous. We once got stuck in the tarmac at, coming back for the winter training camp. We were there for about 3.5 hours. Toilet's locked, can't get in. He knows that I'm needing to go to the toilet as soon as we got up in the air. So sure enough, up in the air, seatbelt sign goes off, Brian jumps up in first. A woman comes up to stand in the queue, and I'm thinking, well, I'll just let her go first and sit back down. So the door clicks open, Brian looks at me, I turn to back, and there's a look of absolute horror. He's obviously went in, didn't bother to flush the toilet, just thought he was leaving me a wee surprise to go back into it, and this poor woman has walked in.
For me as a referee, being involved at the top level, getting to go and be involved in some of the top matches here in this country and also abroad.
Probably should say making the friends and the camaraderie, but it's no. For me, it's the travel anyway. Look at, I've been to places I would never have imagined that I could have been stadiums, even outside the stadium, cities or countries that I never thought I could have visited. So I think there's 57 member countries in Europe, and I've now been to 52.
I think it's getting to be involved at the top level, whether it be in Scotland or in Europe. Beyond that, getting to travel Europe. I mean, I've been to probably close to about 40 countries in Europe, and just getting to be able to do that is sort of your job is amazing. To go to the Bernabeu and the Nou Camp and be in these places, but not just to be in them, it's not just a fan experience, it's actually being on the pitch with these superstar players and getting to see them close up.
I get to referee the best stadiums in the country, some of the biggest matches, the same internationally, so it gives you opportunities that would not be available otherwise.
I love football, I wanted to be a football player, I wanted to be a goalkeeper, was never good enough, genuinely would never have been good enough, and I love it. And I don't really care where a referee, what game it is, every game's great to me, huge to me. I would referee this weekend for not a penny. If they said we're stopping paying referees, I would still continue, I wouldn't stop for a second.